effective clones with desirable mutations.
Rapid
They
speed.
call themselves the Bad Batch.
Oh, dude, that's slow.
Hey everyone, welcome to another fantastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And I'm Andrew.
And we are back with Bad Batch Season 1, Episode 4, Cornered.
Cornered.
Yeah.
It's like
Yep.
the way I felt when I realized I was being filmed during Christmas when you guys got me that Revan lightsaber. Cornered.
Spoiler alert if you haven't seen that video yet.
Go watch it. If you feel like
But-
Christmas.
It's always Christmas here at Empire Radio, right?
I mean, we
yeah.
we did
Yeah?
give stuff away this month, so I guess you're not wrong.
But anyway, before
Did
we
you
jump
know-
into...
Fun
Oh,
fact, did you know that there are abandoned Christmas-themed theme parks
Yes,
in the
Where?
United States?
Where?
I think I've heard that before.
There's a few of one. There's a few of them. Let me learn how to talk real quick. There's a few of them. I found this channel on YouTube recently that is all about theme parks, and you're probably thinking to yourself, "That sounds really lame." It's actually really interesting.
No,
I want to know how you, like, what you typed in the Google...
Dude,
or
no,
the,
no.
it was just a
It's-
suggestion.
Yeah, it wasn't like I wasn't searching for it. It was just like, it was like the history of this like canceled ride at Disney. It was very
Yeah.
clickbaity, but I watched it and I was like, that was really good. And then as I was doing inventory stuff and fulfillment for my job this week in my living room, I just had it playing in the background. And so it's like I know more about roller coasters and theme parks than I did before.
This actually sounds really cool. You need to put that in the Discord because
I will.
I'll actually check it out.
I wish.
Because I watched, there was this one documentary or something. They went to that banded park in, I was Six Flags in New Orleans or Louisiana
Okay.
after Hurricane
Oh,
Katrina.
dude,
Yes.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen that. You know what's really fascinating? If you have HBO Max, the documentary about Action Park
What's
in New
that?
Jersey, bro. Okay, just go watch this documentary.
Okay.
Because the gist of it is that Action Park was like the single most dangerous theme park in America. Like people went there and got seriously. There were deaths, multiple deaths in this theme park,
A day?
and it was anything goes. Like it references some more mature things. So use discretion if you will. But like it's fascinating. You get done with the documentary and you're like, wait, this existed in America, and it did. But anyways, speaking of theme parks, did you know that we're on the internet? Empire Radio is on the
'cause
internet.
They're listening to us right now, so yes, they know
Uh,
we're on the internet.
but we're not just an audio podcast. We have many more forms. Our forms include Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, where we stream the recording of every one of these episodes Tuesday nights, Friday nights, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/Empire Radio. And we have a Discord where everything, it's a party. Everything happens. We just recently decided to structure ourselves and name an Imperial Star Destroyer for the Discord. So now we're all a part of the ISS or ISD Chubby Muffin.
I did not see that in Discord today because I didn't get a chance. So
Yep, that's a thing, and so, and it probably is. Is it the shape of a muffin?
No, and it's a Star Destroyer, but
Oh.
it's got a shot of Jeremiah on the underside. You know how the Chimera has the dragons on the bottom for
Yes.
Thrawn? On the bottom of ours,
It's a
it's
picture
Jeremiah
of-
putting a muffin into his mouth. Yeah. So if you want to know about the significance of all those things, all the inside jokes and everything, you want to be on the Twitch streams and you want to be in the Discord. When you're like, wait a second, how do we do that? How am I supposed to do that? Well, head over to Empire Radio on Instagram or Facebook. The handle is Empire Radio Podcast. Specifically in Instagram, there's a link in our bio. You click it. It has links for all of our social medias in there, so you can connect with us that way. You don't even need an Instagram account. You can go to it in a browser. Go to Instagram.com/Empire Radio Podcast. Click the link. You've got all the links there. And there are also links to buy merch. Surprise, we do have merch. If you didn't know already, EmpireRadioTradingPost.com. It'll take you right there. It's a great way to support the podcast. And there is a link as well to leave us a voicemail. So if you've been here on Tuesdays, we do voicemails that are submitted by our listeners and or our viewers. So if you have a question and you want to be featured, or you have a question and you don't want to be featured, but you want us to answer the question on air, we'll still do it. Just send us a voicemail using that link as well. So there's a lot of ways to connect with us. Go to Instagram.com/Empire Radio. Click the link in the bio, and it's all right there, all in one spot for you.
fun.
Yeah. So we're talking the Bad Batch tonight, right?
Yep.
Oh, it is worth noting. Sorry,
Yeah.
Dave Filoni
Ooh.
is now in an executive creative director role in Lucasfilm.
Which exactly is what?
It doesn't matter. It just means that he has a lot more creative control.
It means that
'Cause
he gets
there's
all
like
the
four
say.
of them with the same title, or something. I think so. He's
Yeah.
like the main team that.
Yes. But what it does mean is that the hashtag Give It to Dave that we started
Yep.
We started this.
is one step closer to its full realization.
Yes.
Correct.
It also means that there has to be a lot more. They have to push a lot harder to give bad Star Wars. They have to push bad Star Wars through the pipeline now. So anyway, just know, everyone that's listening, you can go on Google, look that up, and look up what it actually means. But what it does mean in its simplest form is that one of the hands on the wheels, one of the many wheels at Lucasfilm, but one of the most important wheels is Dave Filoni, and he is helping drive Lucasfilm into a better and a brighter future. So I don't know what that's gonna
Hashtag
mean.
give it to Dave.
Yeah, hashtag Give It to Dave. I don't know what that's going to mean long term for Star Wars, but I do know that it's a good thing. So
I just want to know who's in charge of animation now, since that's what he was before.
Well, it's probably
You
'Cause
think
someone has
he's
to take that position, so I wonder if he's double dipping right now.
probably
or-
right now, but well, I guess Bad Batch is already done, so they're probably just like waiting. Does this confirm that there's only one season of Bad Batch?
no.
No, they'll continue to do. Well, we don't know yet what the future of animation is in Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
but like,
who's the head
as
of
an executive
Lucasfilm?
as the executive creative director, one of them, like, he still has control over Bad Batch. You
True.
know? So
But my real who is in charge of Lucasfilm right now? Is it still?
yes,
Isn't her contract up
I
at the
thought
end of the
she
year?
was supposed to.
yeah.
Oh, it's at the end of this year. I thought it was
Yeah.
like. Oh, okay. Well,
Yep.
that's still a thing.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see. You know what we're also going to see?
No.
The TIE fighter flying us over to talk about the Bad Batch episode. Here we go.
Or the H&M flying over.
All right. So,
All right.
Bad Batch, Cornered, episode 4. What did you guys think? What are your overall thoughts of the episode?
Go ahead, Drew.
Overall thoughts.
Oh, that doesn't sound good so far.
It wasn't that bad. I'm trying to decide if I like it better than episode 2 or not. I feel like I do, in the sense of we get a character who I love from the Mandalorian. So like that's
Yeah.
kind of like the only thing that's really holding this. It was the shortest episode that we have gotten so far.
They get shorter and shorter every week.
Yeah, that's well.
So-
Same with Mandalorian too. Actually, when you really think about it. Overall thoughts, though, wasn't my favorite. I just think it felt like another just brief filler episode. The only thing that we get from it is that we learn that other people are hunting them down, essentially.
That's why it specifically isn't a filler episode, because
I
it
guess, yeah.
adds to the plot.
Yeah.
Filler episodes don't add to anything.
That's fair.
So
So yeah, and that's why I'm trying to think if I like it more than episode 2. And I'm going to say right now I do like it more than episode 2.
all right. Andrew?
The animation was beautiful. Really, really, really appreciated that. That there's continually shots in this show that I'm just like,
Dang.
that, like, yeah. Dang,
Well, the
that's
opening shot of the ship just going through space looked like
yeah.
almost live action.
Yeah, like they've stepped up the production even more so, I think, than Clone Wars season 7, and it looks great. Like, it's a great looking show, and for me, like, that really goes a long way. Yeah, I don't think it was a filler episode, because you're right. I mean, there are plot developments, but I guess I'm kind of wanting more intensity, if you will. And part of that is I think I'm self-sabotaging because I've been watching like a lot of really intense shows lately where like every episode ends on a cliffhanger, and there's like massive plot development in every episode. Like for example, I've been watching
Demon Slayer.
Well, I mean, obviously, but like 2 Stephen King shows as well on HBO Max.
Oh.
And like they're just nuts. Like they're freaking crazy shows. And every episode there's like a major super intense plot development.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been like really enjoying that style of like shock value, I guess. And so for me, like coming into this, it is impossible to like deny the plot developments. There's one in particular that I think that they're grooming underneath the surface in some of the subtleties of the episodes that is going to blow up at some point, and we can talk about that later. So there's definitely some interesting things happening, but I just think it was kind of okay for me.
For me, it kind of makes me believe that what's her name is not force sensitive.
Omega.
I don't think she's force sensitive at all.
I don't think she. Well, I mean that's a theory that everyone's throwing around,
Sure.
but I don't think she is. Like after this episode, it just didn't really seem like she was.
Yeah. Who knows?
But-
But yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't bad for
Yeah.
me. I wouldn't say it was like just another throwaway filler episode.
No. I
I
don't.
think-
That's why I think it's better to me. It seemed way better than 2 because 2, the only development that we really got in episode 2 was that she's a child. You know what I mean?
Well, and the chain code thing.
But they could have announced that. Like,
Yeah. I will say that the first episode is still my favorite.
oh well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So,
But even last week's episode was really good with like how intense it was and like compare last
everybody.
episode.
that's
yeah,
that's true. That's
like
true.
compare last episode to this episode.
Yeah. I like last episode more than this episode for sure.
100%.
Not by it's not leaps and bounds, but yeah, I think I like last.
For me,
episode better.
it's kind of leaps and bounds.
Yeah, I mean, it was very cool to see the new character be added to it, but
Yeah.
yeah. Jeremiah, what did you think?
It was definitely, like you said, a very good-looking episode. Like, I just really liked the setting because I was excited to see what Pantora looked like because we've never been on Pantora. We've been on the moon, I think it was.
Yeah.
Correct.
But I guess I was kind of expecting a similar,
Yeah.
like,
Well,
non-metropolis type
Yeah.
setting.
it's interesting
so-
that you say that because in Dark Disciple, the canon novel Dark Disciple that's centered around Ventress and Quinlan Voss, there's a semi-large chunk of the plot that takes place on Pantora. But it's you're reading the descriptions of the buildings and the setting through text.
It's a little
And so
different.
there's automatically, some biasing and some skewing that happens as you're envisioning things in your mind because of the way that they describe things. So like for me, that I was the same way. I was like, I kind of have an idea going into this of what it looks like, but I've never seen it on screen. And so like it'll be interesting if I ever go back and reread that.
Well, because
how
now
it's-
you have a picture
Yeah,
to put
right.
in there.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, so I like we finally got Fennec. I guess our theory was wrong that the Asian
Yeah.
woman of the replacements from last episode was her. So they got us because they wanted you to think that, but I guess we were wrong. So I was kind of, I won't say I was disappointed but we did have like all those theories about how she could, she would go hunting the Bad Batch and then she'd turn to be good or something like that. So we're not necessarily, we could still get that. Like I feel like that's still possible, that she would no longer become an antagonist, but kind of be more of a, not necessarily like an anti-hero or something like that, where
Like a
She's no longer-
Catwoman type.
yeah. So, I'm really, so I like that aspect that we get to finally get her to see what her part of the show is going to be, and so.
Yeah.
But yeah, like still not a lot happened though. Like we kind of said, like but it's whatever. I still, it adds good elements of, the bounty hunting aspect, and we'll get to it later, but who hired Fennec to get Omega, because there's very few people who know about her, so like it kind of narrows it down. But
Yeah.
who knows?
I mean, for all we know, it could be Rex.
And
I mean,
Don't think
where's he gonna
so.
have the money to afford
And
a bounty hunter?
Why would he hire a bounty hunter? I feel like he would be able to track them down differently.
true. That's fair.
You know,
I said for all we know. I didn't say it was.
But
I mean, that's
we'll
true.
get to those theories.
yeah, it is interesting
later.
because the question I guess I have to pose is that were there not episodes of the Clone Wars that felt the same way?
What do you mean?
Well, because there were episodes of the Clone Wars that developed the plot, but weren't crazy intense. Like there were episodes of Clone Wars that felt more like throwaway episodes, rather than the intense like, oh, we're in the thick of the plot, or like something crazy is happening or whatever. But the difference with that is that we have the experience of binge watching.
Yeah.
And I think that is something to keep in mind too. And
Yep.
for everyone else that's listening and watching, is that if anyone is going through the Clone Wars right now, regardless of the order, chronological or the release order, you have the ability to hit the play button on the next episode and see exactly where it goes, which is very different from the Bad Batch. And so I think doing so, binge watching episodes in sequence like that, lessens the blow, the feeling of so this is what we got, now I have to wait a week,
Yeah. Well,
Whereas
and
it's easier that way to see it in the part of a whole story, and it's the same thing with the Bad Batch arc in season 7 of the Clone Wars.
yeah.
Where like now, in hindsight, I would imagine that a vast majority of the people are going to look back on it more fondly as a whole, but also as a direct setup for this show. You know?
Well, like I didn't. It's on record that I didn't love that arc at all.
Right. Right.
And now, in hindsight, I love it now because those characters actually matter more than just 4 episodes.
Right.
So like,
So
and it's something that everyone that doesn't like this episode needs to really think about. 16 episodes is a lot. That's a lot
yeah.
of content.
oh yeah.
And so, in hindsight, like when you binge watch it at the end of this, when you watch all 16 in a span of 2 days, or if you're Jeremiah, over 1 day on the weekend, like it's gonna feel really nice in it. And we just need to keep reminding ourselves that like 16 episodes is a long time, and like we're breaking these down by episodes. And so we're giving you guys our thoughts, but overall, I feel like when we watch it as a whole, we'll enjoy it a lot more. So
For sure.
this is something that we all
and
gotta
another
keep
thing
in
that
mind.
we have to keep in mind is that even the other Star Wars media that we've consumed recently, like Clone Wars Season 7, there were 4 episode arcs. So they had to fit more intensity into those episodes. Same thing with The Mandalorian. You have 8 longer episodes, long-ish, longer or whatever, but even still, you have to tell more story.
Yeah.
And so it may feel like we're getting little breadcrumbs, but that's because they have a story to tell over 16 episodes versus
8 or 4.
Right.
Yeah, and even like with Rebels, like, you know, the whole seasons, I would say, except for like the final season, like the first 3 seasons, like there's a lot of
Dragging.
like, 1 episode stories that that everything always adds to the bigger story, but like not everyone is like intense. And so like, but with this Bad Batch, because it's 16 episodes of one story, every episode is adding to that strategically. Like there's not, I wouldn't say there's any throwaway episodes, because everything that happens is for a 16 episode story.
Yeah.
And so whereas in Rebels, like a 22 episode or 23 episode season, you know, you have more room to kind of take a little breath
Right.
throughout the season. And so,
and I don't know, Jeremiah, forgive me if I am jumping the gun, but it seemed like a good segue to me into a small discussion on what I believe is the main, for me personally, is the main takeaway in plot development. And I believe it centers around Wrecker.
Ooh.
Yes. Jeremiah's smirk.
Jeremiah's smile.
is it based off of what we talked about last episode?
Yes. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out there, and we can decide if we want to talk about it right now.
You're jumping the shark right now? All right.
But-
Hashtag, you heard it here first. What is it?
I believe, and I said this multiple times when I watched it this morning with my wife. Also, Tanner in the Discord chat is saying the same thing. So Wrecker has hit his head a few times now. He's complained about headaches in episode 3. I think he was more aggressive in this episode than he has been in previous episodes. I think he was quicker to become angry and quicker to jump the gun into certain things. I picked up on that. I don't know if anyone else did, but I think there were a few moments where it felt uncharacteristically aggressive. Not by much, but it was enough that I was like, I feel like there is a slow but gradual change in his behavior that is happening underneath the surface ever since he hit his head in episode 3.
I'm trying
to think. There's only
kind
one.
of like when he
one
said
part,
not on
though.
my watch and he runs out.
Yeah,
But,
there were a few.
But he
just
was a
few
little
moments.
bit more snappy with
Right. I'm
with
telling you,
with Tech.
felt
Like
like- it
he
felt like a
gave him a
slight
little
difference.
bit more attitude than normal.
Yeah, he was like, just tell me what I need to rip out. He was there was a few moments
True.
where he was just short. He was shorter than he had been in the past.
Like he was almost hangry. Like he didn't.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
It's
granted,
like-
they
it's
could be
like-
all hangry because they're out of supplies.
true.
They haven't eaten. I know about. I mean, I get hangry really bad.
Dude, I do too.
Jeremiah.
My wife does.
Jeremiah.
I don't think I get hangry, but
Oh,
Oh well.
sorry, I'm not.
all
But
I'm
I don't know.
saying-
I think I didn't notice that at all.
Well,
like, it
see,
didn't.
Micaiah didn't. My wife Micaiah didn't think that either. But there were so many times that I looked at her. I was like, I swear he's more aggressive. I swear there's
he's-
a difference in his behavior. It's so subtle. It's so subtle, but
don't know.
it's there.
Because he's always wanting to be in the action and always wanting quick
True.
results and doing stuff. So like it's hard for me to see what you're saying because he even like in the original
4
season 7 of
episodes.
Clone Wars, like he was still like that where he was always like let's just blow something up, let's just do this, like
Yeah.
let's go. Like
Here's what
he hates lingering around.
here's what my prediction is. And again, I'm very early. I'm jumping the
Yeah,
gun. But
you're that shark. You're jumping the shark.
look.
But all right.
Here's
Just
what I
baby
think
shark
is
or mama shark or
Daddy shark. Grandpa shark with no teeth.
Appa shark.
Grandpa shark.
That was the Korean version of dad.
Uh,
Appa.
okay.
Oma shark.
That's
sorry
mom.
we don't speak Korean.
I speak a little bit,
Well, some of our listeners
Weird
probably
flex,
do.
but
So
okay.
an ashamedly small amount. But anyways, all I'm saying, I think that there is going to be a subplot interwoven into the first large chunk of the series where gradually over the course of time he's going to become slightly more aggressive by the episode, and then at some point each of the members are going to start picking up on it. And I think, like Tanner said in the chat, it has something to do with him hitting his head and the inhibitor chip kind of slowly leaking into his system. I think that's what's going to happen, and I think instead of a snap, I think it's going to be a gradual change, and then we're going to have this kind of
Problems.
confrontation between him and Omega, where we've gotten this bond and it's continuing to grow, and then all of a sudden it's like torn apart, and she's heartbroken because she knows it's not his fault, but he can't control it, and it still hurts her because he's scary and big and angry and like I don't know.
What
like
was the
Daddy
line
Palp
he had?
said,
Didn't he have a line in this episode where like someone said something like pretty edgy and then like he's like, don't say that or something in this episode?
I don't remember.
Or I thought he said something like that where like
Well,
he
the takeaway
jumped
that
into like don't say that around a child type of vibe. I can't remember if that was I
Oh.
thought that was this episode.
the thing that I got with her was when she was like missing, like someone took her, took Omega, and he said, "Not on my watch." Like we're supposed to know that that's his, like he's protecting her more than
'Cause he did
anyone
that-
else.
He did that in the first episode when she goes to take the chain codes to them as they're waiting in line, and
Yeah.
Second episode.
and
but
so
yeah.
he does that same thing again where he just jumps in the action right away.
Yeah.
So
All I'm saying is it would be genius, in my opinion, it would be genius to have this slowly boil over the course of a few episodes. Like I'm talking like 4 or 5 episodes. And then it come to a head
Yeah.
instead of it being this predictable like outburst.
Like you think it would be cool if we wait like 3 more episodes and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden he's
Just give
He
us super
flops.
subtle changes. Just give us super subtle changes that if you're not paying attention, you kind of miss. And then all of a sudden you're there and you're like, wait a second, when did he get this aggressive? And then, because like, I don't know, they all have chips. We know they have chips, right?
I'm gluing,
Yeah.
so I don't have any, but yeah.
Get out. Anyways, we know they have
Told me to get
inhibitor
out.
chips. We know that they were defective to varying degrees. Obviously, Crosshair turned out a little bit different. You know, where even before his got enhanced, it was like this weird, like, he's got like 1 foot into the Order 66 and 1 foot into the normal head space, you know? So like it wouldn't be. I don't know. I think it would be cooler and more dramatic if we saw that change over the course of time, rather it being this moment where he just he hits his head another time and he snaps.
Right.
But I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. So, anyways, if
Well,
that's what happens,
But we did have the theory starting last week that, his biochip is kicking in, so it would make sense. And
Yeah.
so to see how that would play out, like, it would probably have to turn out that way, like you're predicting. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised now that if they.
or he just hits his head another time,
And then it turns
Do you
on.
think there'll be a
triggers.
time where, like, he does snap into it, like, aggressively and then comes out of it and, like, I
Seconds.
don't know what happened. I apologize. I didn't mean to do that or something like that. Do you think
I mean,
it'll be like that? Or do you think it's going to be something that slowly changes where, like, there's never a moment where
It's
you see a
definitive
big
enough.
jump?
I mean, I think it would be really cool storytelling if
they
was
did it like that.
a 5% increase every time. But another way that this could pan out is that he's already hit his head twice, pretty badly. Like he hit his head in the landing on the moon, and very obviously was like, my head hurts.
And he was
in this
rubbing
episode-
it. And he'd even fight in that one because of it.
Yeah, and then in this one he gets fricked by Fennec, and his head goes straight into the console. So it's like
Yeah.
another thing that could happen is that at some point he hits his head like a third or fourth time and it snaps. Or it could be kind of a middle ground where he has strange outbursts, but then comes back to himself and doesn't really know what's happening. So I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I think his chip activating is going to be a thing. I think that's going to be a subplot that is going to carry the tension and forward more tension in the coming episodes. So
All right.
now that we've
Well.
gotten that out of the way,
Yeah, now that we already did all that,
I mean, there's a lot more stuff to talk about, but
Yeah, we can jump
well, we
into
can break down the
Clink.
episode. Yeah, like your boy, Clink.
my boy Clink.
Is that the one with the arms?
Yes. With the
Yo,
feet. He was dope,
Clink the
dude.
goat.
Dude,
So,
I would
goat.
build a Clink at Galaxy's
the thing
Edge.
is, like, I'm really excited for the cosplay that comes out of this
Oh,
show.
heck yeah.
Because I want to see a Bad Batch and then have this a little blonde girl walking around with them at, like, Star Wars Celebration or something,
Mhm.
and it's just everyone knows who that is. Like, it'd just be cool, just like her. Like,
I want to see Clink.
Dude, I want to
yeah,
see
so I'm saying,
Clink.
like, that's a one someone could definitely do.
Look, Clink was the star of this episode for me. I didn't know it until I saw Clink run or toddle in like towards the end of the episode. But the second I did, it immediately reminded me of my wife. And then I looked
What?
over at her. Yeah, it did. The way it was running, she's done that. It doesn't matter. Just look. It's a
you're
very
back
good-
down to your quarter of a bed tonight.
No, she loves Clink, y'all.
He said
She-
this in
she-
the watch party too. He's
Yeah.
like, "Look, it's my wife." I was like,
Yeah, and she laughed. She was like, "Oh my god, she's so cute!" Like, she loves Clink. Anyways, all I'm saying, Clink was my favorite character in this episode.
Clink was dope. I like Clink. Like I said, I would build a Clink at Galaxy's Edge.
Clink was adorable.
They
I feel like
they need
Clink
to
is
make
like
that.
a distant cousin of Gonk droids because it's like the same like legs, like the rippled legs
They're
or
more-
they have.
Oh.
And so like
Speaking of my wife, she's in the chat right now. Clink.
Clink.
All I'm saying is Clink is on the same cuteness level for me as Grogu and Omega.
for
me. Okay,
no,
hold
no,
on.
no, no,
This
no.
is-
I agree. I would say
Listen,
even more
Jeremiah,
than
this
Omega.
was not me saying overall. I was saying
no,
from
no.
my opinion, Clink is on the same level.
For me, Clink is more adorable than Omega. I'm putting that out there. Just saying.
Okay.
See, look at
Scene
the
by
chat.
scene.
Look at the chat, Drew.
Yeah,
Makia
me
goes
plus Clink.
and then she does a bunch of heart faces, and then she goes me plus Clink. My wife loves Clink. Everyone.
You should get a tattoo of Clink on
Maybe I
Shoulder.
will. I'm gonna get him on my back in mid toddle with one of his arms up like
no,
this.
like the arms, his arms are your arms, like up from the backside.
Oh, like the whole thing.
yeah, like
my whole backside.
This is a back piece of Clink.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Well, your wife said I agree, so
All right. That's backfired. All right, Jeremiah. Oh,
all
she
right,
said
scene by
nope.
scene.
She said
probably
nope.
for the whole
scene.
back scene.
We're good.
Scene by scene.
All right, so our Bad Batch, they're just flying through space and they're out of supplies. And Hunter's like, we gotta lay low, and so they pick Eda Floor, as I think they said it was called, for them just to. It's an uninhabited planet, and they just want to hang out there. But Tech's like, we don't have enough fuel to get there. But the closest planet that we have around us is Pantora, and so I was excited to hear that name. Like I said earlier, it was just I think it was just a one arc where that was in Clone Wars. Like I don't think there was any other times where it was really referenced or.
Well, it would have been if freaking the episodes with Quinlan Voss and Asajj Ventress would have been actually made in the Clone Wars episode, but I'm not salty about that.
Hey, it could be.
You got a book out of it though, so
Yeah,
Well, you never
and
know. It could
it's
happen.
still top 3 canon novels that's ever been written. But
Top 3.
oh yeah, dude, Drew, if you like Lost Stars, I am willing to bet money that you are going to love Dark Disciple.
Who's the writer?
Christy Golden. So, anyways, I'm sorry, Jeremiah. Please continue.
so they go to that planet, and it is like we said earlier, just a really good-looking planet. Like it's just the architecture and it's the cinematography and all of it just look great. And so they land into one of a docking bay things or whatever, like kind of like what we see in Tatooine. This is a typical little circle that they just land in. And there is at first I thought it was an Ugnaught, but then I realized later it was a Celestian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was
And
a
so-
Ugnaught too at first.
But so that was interesting that they went with that. And so they land and need the supplies, but then the Celestian. Did we get a name for him?
Nah,
No.
I called him Lil Daddy.
Okay.
With an I.
Lil.
Yeah, little is spelled with an I. Yeah,
No,
you're right.
Little.
Daddy, D-A-D-D-I.
But
Anyways.
he's like, yeah, okay, no problem. Like we can, give you fuel and let's do some repairs, but I gotta scan your ship first. And so already the whole chain code interplanetary travel thing is being regulated, where these docking bays they're scanning ships just to make sure that they're legal. And so, but obviously the Bad Batch does not want that. And so Wrecker comes in and kind of does an intimidation factor of like, we don't need to do this, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, we can figure something out. And they start walking away. And the Celestian's like, you're forgetting something. And it's funny this because they don't know how to do civilian life. And so he's like, a monetary, what was the word he used? Incentive. And so Crosshair gives them, Tech gives them like
How
3.
dare you?
What?
You insensitive.
They're clones. They all look the same. Sorry.
Oh
God.
my. Get out. Just get out.
That's two tonight, Andrew.
And so he gives them like 3 credit sticks or whatever they're called. And he's like, oh, that's not enough. And he gives them 3 more. And so obviously, if you're trying to make a buck, you just use that to get some money and then you make money other ways. So the Celestian, he gets on the radio and contacts.
Trying to get that
Fennec.
bread.
And so
Hey.
I wonder why he had a connection with Fennec. Obviously, she's probably having places where she's like
Watched.
watching multiple planets, but like, I wonder if she's already tracked him to a certain sector of the galaxy and kind of like
Called her friend up.
picked out like
I think
five,
you're reading
like,
into it too much. I think there's just an underworld. There's like a web among the underworld, and she just had a contact. You know, like it felt like they had just, like she had docked there before, and she knew he was someone who would be willing to talk for money, and like bounty hunters always have there's like shady contacts. You know, they're not fighters, but they're willing to make a quick buck. You know,
yeah, but
slugs,
she's specifically trying to find Omega,
dirtbags.
and it's the
Well,
galaxy
he
of
mentions
thousands of
the shuttle, not
yeah.
Omega. You know,
True.
Well, yeah, but she probably doesn't want anyone else to know that Omega is the target.
True.
Because it's kind of like with Grogu, like everyone knows who Grogu is, and that Grogu was a bounty. Like, you want to keep Grogu a secret. You don't want people to know that you have Grogu. So, like, it's probably the same with Omega. That, you know, if she can keep Omega out of her contact's, perception, and just say, I'm just looking for this one ship that's already being tracked by
right?
the Empire. It just seems like, I think it's more of like a tracking where she knows that they're in a certain region, and because they already had the issues on Seleucami, so the Empire already knows that they were probably already there, and they're already on that general area of the galaxy, and so I'm guessing Seleucami is near Pantora somewhere. Same with where last week's.
Oops, excuse me.
what was last
Well,
week's
let's
planet?
find out. Let's find out, shall we? I'm actually looking up a map of the galaxy right now.
Did we get a planet name from last week's episode? I don't think so. But
No, it was just a moon.
Oh, it was a moon, right.
Pantora is interesting. So Pantora. Wow, the zoom out function is very slow. Pantora is in like the bottom right corner of the Naboo.
Also, by
Did I say
Naboo?
Naboo of the
You
map?
did.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Sorry, Naboo
I
is
was like,
Naboo
what?
is just north. So it's almost like it's in the outer rim. Pantora is.
oh, it is.
Mm-hmm. Based on this map, it's farther out than Naboo. It's actually farther out than Tatooine, technically.
Really?
Yeah.
So where's Seleucami?
Well, let me check.
I just think, I don't know. It's weird that it's in an outer rim region because they're so advanced. Usually, those outer rim stuff, they're kind of more primitive. But
But that would also make sense why she has connections, though,
Interesting. Seleucami, I can't find it on this.
right?
On this map.
Because if it's outer rim, then the outer rim has, like, bounty hunters have more like connections with all the outer rim planets.
Yeah. that is true.
Yeah, Pantora is out there, man. It's out here by a bunch of places that I have never heard of. But Dakar and Crate
Is it by
is
crate?
it's kind of out there. I mean, it's basically it's out in the middle of the outer rim. Oh, it's near Utapau and Dagobah, interestingly enough, and Mustafar and Polis Massa. So that'll put it into perspective for you.
You think we'll get Dagobah next?
No, I had no clue.
They pay a visit to Yoda like in the next episode.
Yeah. So,
That'd be
anyways,
cool to see Yoda. But
so
anyway,
there's a website called swgalaxymap.com. Check it out. It's very interactive, and it's got canon
I wonder-
and legends.
Should throw it in the chat.
I will.
Thank you.
so
Anyways,
anyway, they have to go out to get supplies, and so Tech has to stay back because he needs to get rid of the track. What do they call it? The
the ship's signature.
ship signature device or whatever, and so he has to stay back to work on that. Wrecker can't go out because he sticks out, and so Hunter and Echo go. And
'Cause
what'd you think
Hunter
of
doesn't-
Echo?
I thought his outfit was cool.
You think his headpiece was
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool.
I mean, it made it look like a droid,
well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is cool.
I thought it was cool. Now, do I think Hunter doesn't stand out?
I mean, it's
No,
kind of
he's-
hard.
He just looks like a dude. Like
He
dude
looks
with
like a
long
dude
hair.
that has facial features that are very close to.
But
Clone
yeah.
Troopers.
Yeah, but he has like
You
a
know?
tattoo on his face that once everyone knows like that's who they're looking for, it's gonna be pretty easy to spot him.
I don't know, because we haven't seen any like things, posters up or holograms of.
Well, not in the Outer
Yeah.
Rim.
Yeah, but the Empire is already there though. We see that in this episode.
They were on that planet.
Yeah, they had the whole parade.
Yeah, they did.
Oh
when
yes, they
leave,
did. Yep.
And
yep.
everyone's cheering the Empire because
Yes, yes.
whatever. Like
yes, yes.
so,
True.
they're celebrating this parade, and they have that what's his name, Rampart guy.
Yep.
He's doing his
Forgot about
trading
that.
your credits for pre-o credits, get your
Mhm.
chain code thing, and so already people are embracing the Empire as a good thing, and so that was just an interesting because in episode 2 it was kind of people were in conflict with the Empire, what they were doing with chain codes, but here they're celebrating it, and maybe that's because they're an outer rim planet and they want more connection with the rest of the galaxy because they're just so far out there.
True.
And so by the Empire coming in, they feel more part of a collective group of society, I guess you could say. But they go to like a, I don't know, like a trade post or pawn shop type thing, and they go to sell a device, but they're not able to get the prices that they are wanting because it's not the black market. And you guys like, I'm trying to do like a legal business here. I don't want to do anything illegal, so I can offer you whatever. And you're like, that's not enough. But and during while this is happening, Omega is playing with some clone trooper dolls, which are very similar to the one that we see in Rogue One that little Jyn Erso was playing with. And so that was interesting that they did that. But it's funny because then the shop owner looks at Echo thinking that he was a droid,
Yeah.
which is just funny because it said earlier, like in episode 1, that you're more droid than human,
Mhm.
like percentage wise. And so it's interesting that they kind of continue that aspect and how Hunter's like, look, we can just sell you and then you can just leave. Like, it's not that big of a deal. You're just
True.
like, whatever. And so he's like, fine, but I'm worth more than 2,000 credits. He's like, they counter with 4,000 credits and then they sell at 3,000. And then when he gets handed over completely, like, Echo does his like robot voice, like whatever, like a cliche robot.
Yeah.
None of the droids even talk like that in the Star Wars galaxy, but it's just like we know that's like what a cliche robot voice is, and so it's just funny. But while all this transaction is being completed, Omega gets distracted by these little pets. And fun fact, I was excited about those little creatures because those little creatures we see in Star Wars Resistance. They're like a little like
Oh.
pet dog that one of the main
Oh.
characters has.
Oh.
And so it's funny because you didn't really see it that well here because they're in a box,
Yeah.
but their legs are like 2-3 feet long, like little like chicken legs or like really skinny
Oh.
legs, and it's
I
just
don't
this
like
big
that.
thing on top of
I don't
these
like
little
that.
chicken
What
legs.
the heck?
And then they just like run around and like bark and stuff. It's just watch resistance is a lot cuter than I'm describing. But I just thought that
Alright.
was a cool Easter egg that they threw those in there.
Well, and it's like one of those things. If you didn't watch Resistance,
Yeah, you wouldn't have
yeah,
known.
because me and
But-
Andrew are like, what are these dogs she's chasing? We saw the
I mean, I
wolf
thought they
cats,
were
though.
cute. Yeah,
We
the
s-
loft cats were in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the little creatures grabs the little toy doll, and then the vehicle goes off, and so then Omega just runs after him, and then Hunter realizes she's missing, and he goes looking for her. But while she chases after, she gets knocked down, and then Fennec arrives, and so that was exciting. And did you think that the animation of her face looks like the actress? I thought the one from last week looked closer, but
I think the
replacement.
only thing that kind of
thought it-
was her eyeliner. That was like it.
I thought it was fine.
No, it was fine, but like
Like I thought it looked like her. I thought it looked like
Yeah.
Ming Na Wen.
kind of a younger version.
Yeah.
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 I wasn't mad at it, but
All right.
I don't know.
What was your line, Drew? I don't hate this.
I don't hate
Yeah,
this.
from
Yeah, from the
from
Ewok
the
stuff,
second
yeah.
Ewok
Hey,
movie. I
that
don't
stop
hate this.
motion.
I
It
don't
was
hate it.
banging.
It was a
It was
banger.
a, it was a banger.
If Simon's in here, that stop motion.
But
I don't think
I don't think
he's-
he's in here. I just
Yeah.
no.
But anyway, so Omega, while she's walking with Fennec, Omega says that she's hungry, and Fennec, does this little stunt where she just bumps into someone with a bunch of fruit, pretends to pick them up, like being nice and stuff, but she actually steals 2 pieces, and she kind of does a little like, sometimes you got to break the rules sometimes, and so do you think that was something that she planted in Omega specifically, like to like break rules? Do you think? I feel like that's gonna lead to something later where
Or Omega's
Ome-
gonna break rules.
break rules, or maybe something like Fennec is like knows her true identity of like why she's so special, and kind of wants to like foster that out of her to like you don't have to be so nice type of thing. Or do you think it was just random comment?
I didn't look
didn't-
that into it.
Yeah, I didn't either. I mean, that's
Oh.
a great thought.
No, yeah.
I just didn't.
It just seemed like it was like a weird out of place
It just
like thing to say. Like sometimes you have to break the rules. Like
it almost seemed like she didn't have as much money as we thought she might have as a bounty hunter. Or to show that she is not as good as she. I don't know. When I would see someone steal like that, I would be like, if I was Omega, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to keep an extra eye on you, I was kind of surprised that Omega
yeah, but
did
Omega's
it.
so innocent. She doesn't know there's bad people out there, so it's hard
That's true.
for her to like even have that thought cross her mind.
Yeah. Well, now she knows.
But after this happens, you see Hunter running in from the back and catches up, and so he stops at a far distance because he doesn't know how dangerous this person is, and so he's far back, maybe 50 feet or something, yelling. And so then there's the conflict where Fennec starts shooting, and then Hunter, he's hiding behind boxes, and then I was surprised to see Omega jump onto her arm and trying to like wrestle away her weapon.
That
and-
doesn't surprise me one bit because she's been getting into the action more and more every episode.
Yeah. I was actually surprised she didn't stop her faster than that.
Really? I don't know.
Drew was like, "Yeah, it was pretty slow. You can do better next time."
Honestly.
But there was something. What was it? Something. earlier in the episode where Omega repeated back, I think, something Hunter said. So it goes back to the copying
Well,
of other people. And so maybe
yeah.
here it was just because he was started to fight, like she started to copy the fighting aspect rather than her trying to do the right thing or something. And
Yeah.
so, but what do you think about when Hunter threw his knife? She blocked it, and then she like let go of her shield and grabbed the knife and pulled it out. Like that was a cool,
That was
Yeah.
pretty sick.
Yeah.
cool
It's
move.
nice to it's really nice to see her skill outside of just the Mandalorian,
Yeah.
you know?
And
It's cool.
Yeah.
yeah, and I liked it a lot because it seemed like she was super strong and she's really good at fighting. But then it also shows you how like really strong Hunter is too, when he
Yeah.
kind of handled her at a certain point.
Did I just thought this now in the Mandalorian that first episode that we see Fennec when she's fighting the Han Solo wannabe guy? Does she have a knife? And they're doing like hand to hand combat, and she has a knife in her hand.
I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
I have to go back and watch that. I was just thought of that how maybe she's like, oh, maybe knives are better than I thought they were, and she kind of got it from was inspired by Hunter's knife. I
Yeah,
don't
it
know.
could be actually.
But I like how like Hunter was able to like overpower her, like because she was kind of like so aggressive that he was kind of like throwing back, but then he, I don't know, like squeezes her wrist or whatever. But then
Mhm.
she
He's got
headbutts.
power grips.
Yeah, so she headbutts him really hard, and he gets knocked out. But
Maybe his
Oh.
head.
head injury with Hunter. Do you think he's
I
gonna
don't-
start
I don't
turning?
think so. I don't think so.
They're all gonna start turning.
They just all
No.
get hit.
Omega
You
is
have
gonna
to
have to fight all the Bad Batch.
Gosh.
It's gonna be Omega. Crosshair is gonna get fixed, and it's gonna be Crosshair and Omega against the rest of the Bad Batch.
I doubt it.
You heard it here
You have to have
first,
someone
folks.
to stay. Oh gosh, you have to have someone to stay good during all of this. You know.
Omega.
Yep. But Fennec, she takes off with Omega, and Hunter wakes up and rallies in like, "Hey, they have Omega. Like, she's highly trained." And then that's when, like we said earlier, Wrecker he just jumps in and goes, "All right, I'm after her." Tech hacks into security feeds, and we're just trying to find her. I was kind of surprised how easily Wrecker was able to find her. And so, because like,
Well,
yeah,
did-
they say, oh, she's in the sewer system, but I was surprised to see him there so quickly.
Yeah, I guess kind of. It's kind of convenient, but they
I didn't
only.
even know he could fit down through the manhole.
Well, that was a big hole though that she got into though.
Yeah, but she's also really small, so it might just
True,
look
it might
bigger,
just
but-
look bigger. They only
I
had
was just-
25
I was-
minutes in this episode. Okay.
Yeah, I just thought it was quick that he. It would have been better if like.
He was calling out to her.
Calling out to
Omega.
her, or like Fennec caught up to Omega in the sewer system first, and then Wrecker catches them down there, and then that's when they fight. But whatever, it is what it is. But I was excited for that fight between Fennec and Wrecker, and it was done in like 2 seconds, which was
Mm-hmm.
okay, I guess, because she just kind of used his momentum and, you know,
Well, I
threw him
mean,
into the wall.
she played it smart, and that's the thing. That's the thing about Wrecker is like,
He's not
and
the
I actually-
smartest.
no, that's not what I'm trying to say. But what I was saying is like, and I said this to my wife when we were watching it, but like, he's not. He would never stand a chance against someone like her.
Yeah.
He just wouldn't, because she thinks a few moves ahead. Like
Well-
she's a calculating warrior, and Wrecker is all about using brute strength.
She's
to
more
overpower
agile,
Correct.
so she's able to navigate faster around someone that big.
Right. And the bigger they are,
The harder
know,
they
like-
fall.
that's true. The more momentum they have when they throw attacks, and if you have, the martial arts skills to be able to redistribute that momentum, it makes taking those types of people down very easy. So
But if they land, it hurts a lot more.
That's true. So it's a
So,
risk.
yeah.
You know, twice the pride, double the flaw. Flaw.
The flaw.
That was my failed attempt at quoting Count Dooku. It's fine. Just keep going. We're all fine here. How are you?
But while those two are facing off, Omega goes up a ladder, and I was surprised that it came out like on the top of a building, like way up in the sky. Because she went down into the sewers, and then she's climbing up. Okay, she's going back up to street level, but she goes up even higher, like hundreds of feet in the air. Like, I was surprised. Did you guys think that was weird that they did that?
I didn't think twice about it. I was also watching this very intently, but also restringing a guitar while I was doing it. So I didn't think I didn't have a second thought about that part.
Also,
I was just like, oh,
I was watching with Andrew trying to get to work.
Yeah, he was having trouble getting it to work. So
Well, and we lost you at one point. It was like a whole thing. So, but yeah. You definitely had the morning of watching it twice before work, analyzing all of it, Jeremiah.
yeah, I mean,
is
for me,
true.
it was just like, oh, that makes sense for the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Because there needed to be tension there, you know? So
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
And I was like, okay, she's definitely going to be hanging off the ledge in like a couple of seconds. And
Yeah.
definitely she did. But it was just funny how Hunter's trying to find her, and then Tech radios, and there's chatter on a thing that a little girl is hanging from a building. It was just funny, like, and then like Hunter's reaction, like, what? How? Like, what? Like, he was just so confused, but like also scared at the same time. I thought it was just a funny little whatever. But Fennec, you know, as Omega falls, she catches her, and then they drop onto a what we later know is like a garbage truck type thing. But did you guys enjoy the chase fight? Because like have we seen a chase like that in Star Wars before?
Attack of
like
the
in-
Clones.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It's a pretty similar situation, honestly.
I don't know, but like
Bounty
like
hunter.
Coruscant, where you're like, I mean, I guess I was thinking more like close quarters type. Like they're like in a narrow area, where in Coruscant, like on Attack of the Clones, they're like hundreds of feet away from everything and drops down miles, and
True.
it just seemed like it was like a very like
When she
close,
fell,
like,
she didn't.
streetway chase rather
Yeah.
than
When she
like an
fell,
aerial
she didn't
chase,
fall. She didn't fall that far down.
right.
Like
I don't know. I just thought it was like a unique thing that we don't really see much in Star Wars of that kind
Yeah,
of
for
chase.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the only thing would be like closest would be like Canto Bite when Finn and Rose are on the horse things
Yeah,
and running
come
away, but
on.
that's still different.
True. He said, okay.
You lost me at Kanto.
You know what's interesting? Just to park here for a second. You know what's really interesting about Canto Bite?
That coffee.
Shut your dirty mouth, dude. You didn't even let me set it up.
Well, you asked a question, and so like, I answered it.
They
Yeah,
serve
but it was
coffee
like,
there.
I asked a question, and I was hoping like a little knock on the door or something, but you just kicked the door in.
If you ask any
I'm
questions,
the wrecker of this
Yeah.
group.
Yeah, Tanner, I'm looking down at the chat, and Tanner's like, wow, you know what? It's coffee time. So let's take a listen to a word from our sponsor, Wesley
Canto
Andrews
Bite.
Coffee.
Oh,
Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor for today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about
Tanner,
Wesley Andrews,
here we
you definitely
go.
should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis.
Now this is
Minnesota,
pod racing.
and they make fantastic coffee.
Do the spinning
The awesome
trick.
thing is that they have a subscription service that
Let's
gets
try
those
spinning, that's a
amazing
good
coffee
trick.
beans delivered to your door on an either weekly, bi-weekly, or a monthly basis. Unfortunately, we're all being negatively affected by this virus right now. With that being said, what a better time to try some new coffee and support a local business.
What a better time.
I know they'll greatly appreciate it, and we will too.
Yeah.
After all, using the
We
code
do, every
Empire
time.
Radio with a capital E and a capital R with no space at
Am I
checkout.
bits?
When you start a
Canto
new
bits.
subscription at wesleyandrews.cc, you'll get
Canto
50%
bites.
off your first purchase. I can't think of a
Oh,
better deal.
Jeremiah,
Get
that is a good
50%
idea.
off. Support your
Oh,
local
make
Star Wars coffee
Canto
shop and support your
bites.
favorite Star
Canto
Wars
Bites.
In the words of
BITES.
Emperor Palpatine,
Canto Bites,
it.
Jeremiah.
What would that look like though? Like what would it
A
be?
horse head.
All right, do it.
Do it.
Do it. You know what to do. Go to wesleyandrews.cc, get a coffee subscription, and you'll thank yourself later.
True.
It's good stuff. It's really good stuff.
All right, so they're back in the chase, and
They're chasing good coffee because that's easy. You can get it delivered straight to your door.
You don't have to chase it too
You
far.
don't have to chase it too far at all.
Unless you want to run down the mailman before it gets to your mailbox.
And then you just meet them there. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
the chase I thought was great. I still think it wasn't as brutal and dark as it was last week, but they killed some people in this fight. Like really,
In
The
the same way,
cops-
the flavor of Wesley Andrews coffee kills my
Dark.
taste buds in a good way.
Oh, not dark. Young Padawan learner.
I was-
Too hot.
I was gonna try to see how many ways I could fit it in, but I feel like at a certain point, people are just gonna start rolling their eyes and
Or
turn
just
it off,
leaving
so-
the chat.
So I'm done. I'm done now.
Good.
Please continue.
All right,
She
but-
did just straight up cap one of the police.
Yeah, and then they
officers.
crashed. So they both those cops are dead, and then the driver of the vehicle she just threw him out. Like, like he's definitely dead too. Like there's no way he
Yeah, it's a
survived
kid
that.
show.
Yeah, it's a kid show.
everybody.
It's a kid show.
So that was an intense thing, but obviously Hunter is able to get back Omega, and they get back to the ship. And so while all this is happening, they're trying to get the ship back together because they just took it all apart. And so Echo, he when he finds out that they have to make a quick escape and he get back, like, well, Teg's like, there's no way we can get out here right away because I don't got any droids that can help us. So then obviously Teg's like, well, I got some new friends that we can grow. Did you notice though that Echo had a restraining bolt on him?
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
that was really
'cause
funny.
he gave it to.
Right.
Yeah,
He gave all of them to him.
yeah.
But it was just
Yeah.
funny that he put that on, that the shop owner put it on him. But yeah. So this is where we see what's his name in all his glory. Click, is that his name?
Click,
Clink.
clink.
Clink. Sorry.
Clink the goat, everyone.
The goat.
the little toddler droid. I love it. I wish I could have a Clink just follow me around. I'd just smile.
Well, just
all
have
the
your
time.
wife walk behind you.
It's a little different.
Oh, okay.
I see what you're trying to do. I appreciate it, but it is a little different.
All right, but Clink, he's the most
goat.
excited, the most excited to participate in fixing this ship, and he has some hops. He was jumping up and down on that,
I feel like his legs are spring loaded.
possibly.
As they should.
Like,
And I'm surprised that
Moon
they
boots.
didn't take the droids with them. I thought they would
I
have taken.
know,
I know
it's
that'd
too
be
much extra
stealing.
baggage.
but you know that they all
Too
got
many
captured
risks.
by their own owner again, and they're gonna be in that room.
Too many. It's too much of a risk, man.
They could have at least took Clink,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
could have.
because he's the only one that had a name.
Yeah, but who would spread joy to the people of the Pantoran underworld? No one.
Yeah,
That's Clink's job.
that's fair. But
Yeah,
they did give him a name, so they should have just kept him.
Why
Maybe
they didn't give him
he'll-
the name?
Maybe he'll
Well,
come back.
Maybe he snuck on and we don't know until they fly
maybe.
off, and then he's like making noise in the background and he rolls out. Because I mean, everyone has like a droid, that's with them, and
Yeah.
we don't have one right now.
Well, we have Echo.
Okay. Get out. You
Sorry, I
insensitive
didn't-
swine.
What?
He
That was
didn't have a.
funny.
He didn't have a
That was the
choice.
joke in the episode.
Well,
They can
yeah,
make that joke in
but-
the episode, but I can't make it in real life.
Yeah, because
here
you're not a
about this
clone.
episode.
You
I'm
don't.
sorry you're offended by this fictional person that doesn't exist being called a
Wow, we.
All right,
Okay,
but-
all right.
But anyway, they escape, and Fennec comes back to the Celestian and says, "If you hear anything, let me know." So there's a Easter egg, or not Easter egg, a foreshadowing that I feel like something is gonna come up. Like maybe
Maybe they have to-
Crosshair and the replacements will show up there, and so then she's made aware of someone else trying to find Omega or something. But anyway, she goes back to her on her ship, and she radios in that she wasn't able to get Omega, but they had that interaction. So she's working for someone. So the big question is, who is she working for?
And that was the end of that
Who-
episode, right?
Yeah, and so who hired her to get Omega? My guess is it's the Kaminoans. It's Lama Su and Nala Se.
Oh,
Because not a lot of people know who Omega is,
yeah.
and so like I don't even does Tarkin even know about Omega?
Yeah.
Like apart from like
I don't-
Maybe?
like he knows that she went with the Bad Batch, but like does he even know anything about her? I don't think so.
I don't think
Yeah.
so. I
So, like,
I think
he
that
wouldn't-
she's a really closely guarded secret.
Now, do
Yeah,
you
'cause-
think? Because it seemed like maybe Hunter recognized her before when he told Omega to step away. Do you think Crosshair, like maybe they've connected before in the past, and Crosshair hired her to get Omega because that's the
No.
reason why they went back to get Omega in the first place? So Crosshair was with them when they went back before they like fully took over his chip. They went back there to get Omega. So maybe
Okay, hold on. Say that again?
Okay. So in episode 1, before Crosshair became full chipped, they went back there to get Omega,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
maybe
Okay.
Crosshair paid her to get Omega because then he knew that if they get Omega, the group is going to come back and get Omega.
Oh.
That is not far fetched.
And
Yeah.
Hunter, it seemed like Hunter potentially, unless he just knows that like what a bounty hunter kind of looks like, it seemed like he knew of her already. Like,
I just think he sensed she was a threat.
correct, but maybe it's because they've worked together in the past, or
Well, I
they
think if
had
they
an
worked together
interaction
and knew each
before.
other, they would have.
Yeah.
He would have said like, when he radioed in, like, "Hey,
true.
Fennec Shand, who we worked with back on whatever, just took Omega." Like, I think it would have been.
And
That's
that would have been
true.
the exact communication. Hey, Echo, Finnick Shand, who we worked with back 3 years ago on this planet.
Well, but maybe they haven't worked with her in a positive way. Maybe they interacted in a negative way, and they don't actually know her. They just recognized her.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think if they did, they would have. He would have been more clear with that when he radioed in the tech.
True, that's fair.
But
I'm just saying it's not. It's could be possible, but I actually
Yeah.
kind of think I'm leaning more towards Jeremiah. I'm just throwing out another theory.
yeah, I think it would be interesting if Crosshair hired her, but I wouldn't see that being a thing that he would have the resources to hire her. It would be the Empire that would hire her.
Yeah, that's fair too.
Or he would do it himself, like him and his elite squad, like they would go out and do it. And so
yeah,
what would be interesting is if that Asian lady in the elite squad was like
related to her.
Fennec's sister or cousin or something, like they're related to each other.
Oh, sister.
Well, I feel
That
like
was Darth
that,
Vader, if anybody didn't know.
Yeah,
no
I
no one
didn't know.
knew, but
Thanks. It's from Return of the Jedi.
Right. I know. I can get that now.
yeah.
Thank you.
But that'd be cool if they know each other. Like they fight against each other because they're like on opposing sides of trying to get her. But I don't know. I think it's still Nala Su or Lama Su and Nala Se because they talked about that last week how they need to recover an asset of theirs.
Yeah, and it makes more sense it would be them too because they do have connections with bounty hunters because of Jango Fett. Like, they know how to hire a bounty hunter essentially.
Yeah, because they had bounty hunters train
Yep.
clone troopers too. Like there's a couple.
So it makes more. It makes a lot more sense
Fun
that it would be
fact.
them, but
They had bounty hunters train the clone commandos in the expanded universe.
Oh,
well,
that's exciting, I guess.
Thanks.
Heard it here first, folks. But the only other possibility would be is if Omega is not a clone of Jango Fett, like from his DNA, and is just a separate cloning project, and whoever hired the Kaminoans to do their cloning project are the ones that want Omega back. Does that make sense?
yes. But I feel
So
like
that'd be the only other possibility, but
I feel like that's not.
like we have nothing to go off of for that. So that'd be just kind of like a random thing that would happen,
Yeah.
which I wouldn't think would work well. But
I'm leaning towards what you're saying, Jeremiah. Like they're trying to get her back. They're trying to figure out a way to get her back without the Empire knowing.
right.
And like they said before,
Yeah.
she's one of the 5 Bad Batch. Like she
Yes.
is. So I feel like she is a clone of them. So
Yeah.
that's my guess.
All
Yeah.
right,
Could be Jar Jar.
Okay. Well.
could be.
Someone had to say it.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna say this: what you've been saying all night. Get out.
Ooh.
It's not the same, dude.
It didn't work. I tried. Sorry.
It doesn't hit.
Listeners, I'm sorry. You know, it doesn't hit the same. And Jeremiah's mic just fell.
Don't worry, folks. It's all part of the show.
The same. Dang, dude.
Anyway, somebody want to take over for a sec while I fix my mic?
Yeah, so that has been Bad Batch Season 1, Episode 4, Cornered. So let us know. What were your thoughts? You know, there are a lot of
I'm
ways
just
to
gonna
let us
hold
know.
this, Sorry.
Okay. For those of you listening to the audio, he's just holding it. He's just holding the mic now. So, yeah, what were your thoughts? It would be really interesting if we had a voicemail about this topic. About
On
your
Tuesday.
theories. On Tuesdays, yeah. Or on this next Tuesday. So at the time of recording this, it is Friday, May 21st. So you have a few days to get it in before the next Tuesday. But, yeah, let us know what you think. We'll definitely listen to it unless you tell us not to, and then we'll talk about it regardless.
Correct.
But yeah, what do you think about this episode? Who do you think is hunting Omega? Are we reading too much into it? Is it just the Kaminoans? Or is there something else going on, something more sinister that we don't know about underneath the surface? Do you think
Hondo.
Wrecker?
Ooh.
Maybe.
I wish it would have been Hondo who was hunting.
Bruh, it never
The
would have
pirate,
worked.
He's not a.
That's
yeah,
fair.
gonna work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
He's way too lazy for that. But what do you think about Wrecker? Do you think Wrecker is it gonna be a slow burn? Is it gonna be an explosion? Is it gonna happen at all, or is he just gonna stay the same the whole time? Let us know through voicemail or through a direct message, or let us know in our Discord if you haven't joined already. You want to join? It's a great way. Just join, say what's up, and then boom, just hit everybody with your theory. But yeah, we got a lot more episodes to go. You know, we're only.
True. We're not even
We're a
halfway.
quarter of the way through.
Yeah,
so.
we're only a
5
quarter of the way.
episodes in, so or 4 episodes.
Yeah,
Jeez.
we got a lot more ground to cover, and we've already seen a lot of the trailers.
Yeah. The only thing
So-
we're missing is Rex at this point,
Rex
Yeah.
and the Slavers.
The Zygerian
True.
slavers, yeah.
which could be one
So-
episode.
Yeah.
It really could, yeah. So, you know, we could see the Inquisitors, the early Inquisitors. We could potentially see Vader. I doubt it, but it's a possibility.
It's possible.
You know, but yeah, just let us know. Let us know what you're thinking, what you'd like to see, what you wouldn't like to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Anything else, y'all?
No?
No?
Cool. Well, just a reminder, we're going to be doing this every Friday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, until the Bad Batch season 1 ends. So every
Yes.
Friday night, if you want to be here during the recordings, twitch.tv/Empire Radio, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, or shortly after, depending on how late we're running. But it's always a party and it's always fun. So stick around for the future episodes if you enjoyed this and if you enjoyed being a part of the stream. Also, just a reminder that on Tuesdays, again, we do listen to voicemails. So if you have a question, you have a comment, you want to agree with Jeremiah that the first half of A New Hope is trash, whatever, if you want to be heard, get it in before the next Tuesday episode. That's going to be when we'll pull them all and we'll listen to them. So, yeah.
All right.
All right, cool.
Sweet.
All right, so you've been listening to another episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah,
I'm Drew.
And I'm Andrew.
and may the force be with you.
Always.